Today I'm back with another episode of Baking with Whit, and today we are going to be making some delicious cookies out of, you guessed it, box cake mix. Yes indeed. So today our flavors that we are going to be making are strawberry white chocolate chip cookies, and then we are going to make some Oreo white chocolate chip cookies. So I hope you all enjoy. It's another fun recipe that you can make at home with your friends, your family, or even your kids. So I hope you enjoy. It's a really simple recipe that I hope is easy for you to do. And we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you all the ingredients that we will be using today. And so here it goes.
Oreo cookies, softened butter, strawberry cake mix, yellow or vanilla cake mix, vanilla extract, large eggs, and Ghirardelli white chocolate chips.
So we're going to start off by baking our strawberry cookies. So I'm going to go in and take the strawberry cake mix and get that into a bowl. All right, and to that we are going to add 2 large eggs. We're going to add 1/2 cup of butter, softened butter. All right. We're going to add a tablespoon of our vanilla extract. And this is what it's going to give these cookies a down-home kind of taste. All right, and that is that for our first set of cookies. Simple as pie. All right, and so we're going to take this and we're going to mix it together with a spoon just to make sure that all the components are evenly distributed, and the powdered form of this mixture will then form into a cookie-like batter, which I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Then we are going to take some of our Ghirardelli white chocolate chips. We're going to use about 1/2 bag, which is about 1 cup of these chips. And we're going to go for it and add that directly to our batter. And then we'll just do a quick fold in of those chips until it kind of coats the chips a little bit and forms a nice consistency that we can scoop out onto our cookie sheets. Now, as far as our cookie sheets, I have gone ahead and lined them with some parchment paper, and this will fit about 12 cookies to a sheet on my larger cooking sheet. And then we'll get those into the oven. I have preset my oven to 350 degrees, and we'll be baking these cookies on the center rack for about 18 minutes. The time frames to cook your cookies or bake your cookies may vary depending upon your oven, but usually it's about 15 to 18 minutes to cook these cookies on the cooking sheet. And you just want to make sure you have them on the center rack, because if you have it on the top rack, it could burn the tops of your cookies. Or if you have it on the most low rack on your oven, it would burn the bottoms of your cookies and the top would still be dough. So now that I have these mixed together, we're gonna go ahead and get them onto our cookie sheet. Now, if you made more batter than what you actually wanted to produce as far as your cookies, keep in mind that this batter can be kept in a freezer. You would just wrap it up with some plastic wrap and put it into the freezer, and you can store it for up to 6 months. So it is a good recipe that you can use now throughout the summer or even leading into Christmas. So when I am distributing this cookie batter to the sheets, I like to use a ice cream scoop, because I feel like it's the best way to get the even amounts of cookies and the same size of cookie on the sheet consistently. So I'm just gonna go in, and this ice cream scoop that I'm using is 3 tablespoons. There are different variations, so if you want smaller cookies, you can use a smaller ice cream scoop, something like a 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. I have varying ones that are smaller for smaller size cookies. But for the most part, I use my 3 tablespoon scoop because it makes a decent sized cookie. And then I'll just get it added on to our cookie sheet here. Let me adjust just a little bit. And I'm just gonna take this scoop by scoop, making sure I have some of these chips. And I'm going to space these out about 2 inches apart. Getting exactly 1 scoop size for each cookie. All right, and there you have it. We have all 12 cookies onto our sheet, so you can see here. And we're just gonna pop these into the oven for, like I said, about 18 minutes. Set it and forget it. Once you put these into the oven, you don't want to open it up for anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer there. We're gonna let these go ahead and cook, and then I'll move into our next flavor of cookie that we'll do in just a moment. All right, and moving forward, we are going to be making or starting to make our Oreo white chocolate cookies, white chocolate chip cookies. And we're gonna go in and we're going to start with some actual Oreos. So I'm gonna take about 8 of these and put them into my food processor here and get them kind of ground and broken up so that we can add them to our batter. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And you don't have to get these well ground up. You can leave little chunks if you like those chunks to bite into in the cookie. So I'm just gonna do a quick pause. broken up. Until they are the size and consistency I kind of want for the cookie. And then we're gonna start on our batter for our cookies themselves. So I'm just going in to use some yellow cake batter. And again, this is a very simple recipe. We're gonna add this into a bowl. Again, we're gonna take 2 large eggs. All right, and then we are going to add a 1/2 cup of our softened butter. Make sure you get all of that into the mix. All right, and then we are going to go in and add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract once again. And just as easy as that, we have the contents to make our cookies. So I'm just gonna go in with a spoon here and get this mixed all together. And then we'll go in and add our flavorings, which is our Oreos and our white chocolate chips once again. So once I get this mixed up, I'll come right back to you. All right, and now that we have our batter all mixed up and incorporated together, we're just going to add in those Oreos from the food processor. And we'll go ahead and give this a mix all together and make it a consistent batter. And I'll show you how that looks. All right, and here we have it all mixed up together. And we're just gonna go in with our white chocolate Ghirardelli white chocolate chips. We're just gonna add that 1/2 bag into there, which is about a cup. We'll add that into the batter and we'll get that all mixed in, and I'll be right back. All right, and now that we're back, we're gonna go ahead in with an ice cream scoop once again, a 3 tablespoon ice cream scoop, and we're gonna get this placed onto our cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. You want to make sure you get all the contents, including those lovely white chocolate chips and the Oreos, all into your scoops. And again, we're going to space this out on the pan about 2 inches apart from each other. Should make about 12 cookies. So I'm just going to get these onto the sheet, and this sheet will be ready to go into the oven once those are done. All right. And there we have it. We have our white chocolate Oreo cookies ready to go. I'm just gonna get these moved over. And then what we will do next is I'll show you how we make our chocolate drizzle, our white chocolate drizzle, to go over the tops of these cookies once they have been baked and once they have set out for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes to cool just a little bit. So I'll be right back to show you that in just a moment.
So now we have our cookies fresh out of the oven. I've gone ahead and let these cool for about 15 minutes. And so we're gonna go in and I'm gonna now show you how we make our white chocolate drizzle to go over top of these cookies and give them more of a gourmet look.
All right, so how we make our white chocolate drizzle, we're gonna go in with some of those same white chocolate chips, the Ghirardelli white chocolate chips, and we have about 1 cup of those chips, and we have them in a microwave safe measuring cup. I'm just gonna pop these into the microwave for about a minute, and then we'll stir them around. If you're using chocolate chips or different brands of white chocolate chips, I recommend to only microwave these for about 30 seconds at a time. Give it a stir, 30 seconds, give it a stir until you get the correct consistency for drizzle. So let's pop these in for 30 seconds. And we'll let that go. And then what I did is I took one of my piping bags and I put it over a cup. That way I have a nice round opening here that'll hold this cup for me, which makes it so much easier when you're trying to pour the chocolate out into the piping bag. And that's just one tip that I learned along the way to kind of help out. And so once these get melted down, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a stir, put them in for another 30 seconds, and then they should be ready to pour into our cup. All right, and so these have just come out the microwave, and I'm just giving them a light little stir. They may look like they're not melting at all, but trust me that heat is being distributed into the chocolate chips or white chocolate chips. You just want to give them a light stir so that they don't burn in the long run. And then I'm just going to pop this back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. And they should be good to go. If not, after the second set of 30 seconds, then I recommend to only do maybe waves of 10 to 15 seconds, just so you don't risk burning that white chocolate or your chocolate chips. And so in that short period of time, we're going to go ahead and get that mixed up together and get it poured into our cup so that we can start to drizzle these cookies. So, in just a few more seconds here, this wave should be done, and we'll get them mixed together and get that chocolate going for our cookies. All right. And I am stirring this with a silicone spatula, which is so easy to get chocolate off when you're doing your cleanup. That's why I love to use a silicone spatula if I can. If you don't have one, by all means, you can use a regular spoon, and that will work just fine for mixing your chocolate after you heat it up. All right, and in just those 2 short waves of 30 seconds, we have gone through and we have made our nice drizzle for our cookies. So, as stated before, I'm gonna go ahead and get this poured into my piping bag. And then we'll get started with drizzling these cookies. Much of this chocolate into the bag as we can here. All right. And I just removed my bag from that cup there. And as you can see, it's nicely placed into the piping bag. I'm just gonna take the top of this and do a twist. And then I'm going to cut a very small slit onto my piping bag here, just enough to let out a little bit of this chocolate. All right. And then as I drizzle, I put it into my dominant hand. In this case, I am right-handed. I'm gonna place this into my hand, holding it upward so the chocolate does not melt out. And when you're drizzling, you just want to make sure You just want to make sure that you start on the side of whatever treat or cookie you're drizzling on and then begin to drizzle over top of your cookie. That will halt from your lines end up having a swizzle in them, and you want to do a consistent left to right motion with your hand, and that will cause a nice line onto your cookies. So I'm going to start on the side here and just doing a left to right motion, which causes nice straight clean lines on the cookie. So I'll continue this throughout my entire process until my cookies are nice and drizzled with chocolate as well, white chocolate. There we have our first set complete, and I'll move on to our Oreo white chocolate cookies here. Doing the same thing, left to right. Applying just very little pressure here onto the bag, which will cause these pretty lines on our cookies. There you have it. In just that short time, we have completed our white chocolate strawberry cookies and our white chocolate Oreo cookies. I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a marvelous Wednesday. And tune in next week for our next episode of Baking with Whit. There will be episodes every Wednesday, so I hope you tune in for the next one. In the meantime, just feel free to leave a comment at the bottom and subscribe to my page. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you are aware of the next time we have a video next week. I look forward to seeing you, and thank you for tuning in for Baking with Whit. Have a nice day, y'all.